Hey everybody, welcome to another video. I'm very excited to get into this one today as I've gone ahead and put together a set guide and review for 2026 Topps Flagship Series 1. I used to like watching these back in the day, especially as I was getting into YouTube breaks and whatnot. But I haven't really seen anybody do one of these in a while. And so I took some time and put this together for you all. So I hope that you enjoy it. This is going to be a breakdown of Series 1. Towards the end, there'll be my cheat sheet for you to look at for teams to target as you're getting into this break. And I've broken it down a number of different ways. So if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you stopping by. Please hit us up with a like and a subscribe. If I have the time, and now that I've got the template for this, I'll certainly look to do this with additional releases that come out. But let's get right into this. So you've probably seen the breakdown of this. There are other people that have gone through the checklist and what the cards look like. I'm not going to spend too much time going into the breakdown of the cards and things like that. You can see some of them here, the base card, as well as the gold and what some of the autographs look like. Mostly I wanted to get into what you can expect out of this. And, you know, again, I think most people are going to jump into breaks. So I want to kind of break this down for you for the teams that you should target. So let's get right into this. Obviously, from a highlights perspective, again, this is the flagship product. It's kicking off the season, generally the first release of the year. Again, there's going to be a 350 card base checklist in 2026. This is the 75th anniversary. So last year, I think the gold stamps had the silver stamps had the 35th anniversary, but this is the 75th anniversary of actual beginning of production, going back to 1951. If you are a set builder like me, Topps just keeps getting farther and farther away from being able to complete rainbows. You'll find in this there are 53 or more different variations between numbered cards and parallels, and some of them are specific to certain types of formats. So if you're chasing a rainbow, good luck. It's going to cost you a fortune because there are so many different variations. But because of that, there are a lot of different variations that you can find in these products, including the golden mirrors are back, the clears are back in the hobby format, and we'll show you some of these here in a few slides. This is going to be widely available again in both hobby and retail formats. I don't know the exact print count. I mean, listen, honestly, just looking at how Topps has been operating, it seems to be something that they're just trying to make as much money as possible. This is probably going to be printed to the moon again. So you go into it with a strategy, whether you're trying to get your specific player that you're PCing or joining breaks. Again, have a strategy with that. There are a whole bunch of new insert sets this year, including the All Kings. Excited to see those. Again, going back to what Topps generally does, this year is going to be the 1991 Topps design, which is going to be heavily used in relics and autos. So from a buying perspective, different formats, obviously there's going to be hobby, both regular hobby and jumbo. A couple of things of note here. These are prices that I'm seeing in the aftermarket. So this is before release. I think pre-order was maybe $200 for a jumbo and $100 for a hobby. Obviously those are sold out. This is just prices that I was seeing, I think, on Blowout or whatnot, where you can pre-order. There is some confusion around whether or not the jumbos are going to have 2 silver packs. I believe they are. I believe I read that it was a misprint on the official release, that it initially had said 1 silver pack. But it should be pointed out that Topps did shortchange us again this year, in that typically jumbos in the past had been 1 relic and 2 autos, albeit one of them being a manufactured auto. This year, you're only guaranteed 1 relic and 1 auto in a jumbo. So I thought that was interesting. Just another way that Topps is kind of beating us up over it. Hobby's going to stay the same, 20 packs, 12 cards. Changes to the Mega and Blasters this year. Again, shortchanging us. Last year, there were 16 packs and I think 220 cards in a Mega. This year, there's only 14 packs, 196 cards. Now, again, most of those cards were base cards. They did give you the 2 packs with the Mojos, and those are going to still be in there. So you're really losing out on 2 packs of just base, but the pricing is still the same, right? $50 a box, so you're getting less cards. And on the blaster side, what had traditionally been 7 packs in a blaster is now down to 6. So just keep this in mind as you're going out there and buying cards from a value perspective. Just less cards, less opportunity for you to find what you're looking for. Each individual format has its own individual parallels. So again, keep that in mind. If you're trying to create a rainbow, you're going to have to go probably do it on the aftermarket. I don't suggest buying all the different formats to try and find that. There are hobbies again this year. As well as the holiday tins, the Easter tins, the holiday tins for that will come out later in the year. Again, be cognizant of that. Hanger boxes went up in price from, I think they were $12 or $12.99 last year. They're going to be $15 this year. Again, just one more way Topps is beating us up over that. So just pay attention to that as you're going out there and trying to find what you're looking for. All right, so let's get into some of the specifics of this. From a key cards perspective, these are rookies. Rather than just kind of outline the top maybe 5 or 10 rookies that everyone's going to be targeting here, and obviously it's top heavy with the Roman Anthonys and Jack Cagliones of the world. I just went through the checklist and picked out ones that were rookies that were the top 100 prospects. So this is a little bit of a deeper list. I've highlighted here and bolded the ones that will be the ones people chase. Mizorowski, Carson Williams for the Rays, Basallo, and Cam Schlittler. And then on the right side, obviously Roman Anthony's to highlight. I think as such, the Red Sox will probably be one of the most expensive teams, if not the most expensive team. And I'll show you why they may or may not be in a slide or two. But they do have a number of different prospects in here that made this list. So it's something to pay attention to. All right, this is a little bit of an eye test. I apologize, but I talked earlier about there being 53 different parallels. Feel free to pause this and zoom in. But again, if you're chasing a rainbow, good luck. These are all the different parallels that Topps listed just on the base parallels. This doesn't include the variations, the clear variation, the photo image variation, the golden mirror SSP. So, check this list out. Proceed at your own risk and with caution. Again, I don't recommend buying up packs in retail to go find your player that you're chasing. Best bet is to find it on the aftermarket. Continuing on here with inserts. So some of the standard inserts are returning. The All Topps team greatest hits, which has been in there for a while. There's some new ones, profiles, big ticket, first pitches back. On this page, you're seeing all of these inserts because they have different parallels that you can chase, which are listed below. So certainly pay attention to that. Again, some of these are going to be, the parallels may be specific to specific formats. And then there's going to be some other inserts that we're familiar with, like the heavy lumber and home field advantage. But one thing to note here is that what Topps typically had done with the home field advantage is put 10 in each of the releases in previous years for a total of 30. This year, it looks like they're going to put 20 in each of those releases. And, those will be highlighted by some veterans that will be in this as well, and some other retired athletes, which I think is pretty cool. Again, I talked about the All Kings card, All Aces and All Kings. Those are going to be the big wins this year, I think. And Ohtani, for instance, has both an All Aces and All Kings. I think those will be highly sought after. So you want to be targeting those if you can. Retail is going to have Stars of MLB and then a second retail Titans of the Game. So, I know many of you weren't fans of the Stars of MLB just because they were everywhere and there's not a lot of value in those. you're going to have a second series of retail inserts with the titans of the game. So just be on the lookout for that. Pay attention. All right, so want to head here. So break team targets. All right, so I think this is probably what most of you are going to be interested in, and I should put a safe harbor out there that says this is my opinion. You're certainly welcome to agree or disagree with this. I went through, painstakingly went through and looked at all of the different autos, relics, inserts, variations to try to compile this list for you. I don't know what prices are going to be when you're joining breaks on Whatnot or YouTube or any of these other platforms. But these are teams that I wanted to highlight that you should be aware of. Obviously, my opinion, I think the best two teams are going to be Boston and New York. Boston's going to be highly sought after just because it's going to have the biggest chase, which is going to be Roman Anthony. Outside of that, there are 3 rookie cards with the Red Sox, and they're all pretty good ones. Peyton Tolles, who's one of their top pitching prospects, who came up towards the end of the year, looked pretty good, throws hard, and also Johnston Garcia. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Incidentally, he was subsequently traded in this offseason to Pittsburgh, but his card is going to be in for the Boston Red Sox. A big power bat, young, interesting to see potentially where he may go. The Red Sox do have 25 autos and 16 relics and 24 inserts, but it's the variation. So they have 50 different variations between Roman Anthony, Yastrzemski's in there, a lot of different legends like Pedro and David Ortiz. And so, you want to keep that in mind, obviously, when you're getting into breaks. I would expect to pay heavily for the Red Sox, but you're probably going to be rewarded. Best team number 2 is going to be the New York Yankees. And the Yankees are on this list pretty much every year just because of Judge and some of the other players that they have. But they have the most cards. So if you're getting into a break and the Yankees are a value team for whatever reason, you're not, or you get them in a random round robin, you're not going to want to trade them because they have the most cards that are in the set. They have the most base cards. They don't have a lot of rookie cards, just the Cam Schlittler rookie, but there's 43 different autos. There's 21 relics, there's 33 inserts, and there's 42 variations. Went through the autograph lists. So my good friend Justin at Three Good Nerds would like to see the fact that there's multiple Donnie Mattingly autographs and relics, Reggie Jackson and Judge autos. So a lot of hits in the Yankees this year. Similarly with the Dodgers, I could have put the Dodgers as best team 3 just because of the number of cards that they have and autos and relics and inserts. A lot of variations. Mentioned earlier, Ohtani is heavily portrayed in this, but he has a lot of autographs in this. And if you're following the aftermarket on Ohtani cards, they're just skyrocketing. They continue to go up and up. So any variation that you can get of Ohtani, the home field advantage or whatnot, it's going to be worth some money. I want to put some sleeper teams on here. These are teams that, in my opinion, if you get in a break you don't want to give away, or if you don't have someone who's savvy and may not know who the chases are on any of these teams, you may want to try to target them if you can find them. My first one up here is the Atlanta Braves. Not a lot of cards, base cards, 12, only one rookie. And I don't think it's the top tier rookie, but they have 35 autographs, which is, I think, second to the New York Yankees, which is obviously what you want to get is autographs, right? 22 relics, 26 inserts, 46 variations. Again, second to Boston there. So getting into a break and getting the Braves, in my opinion, is going to be good for you because you're probably going to get something. And there's a lot of different variations, throwbacks in there, Maddox and things like that. So Braves I have as sleeper team number 1. Sleeper team number 2, to my cubbies out there, BC Sports and the sports card ripping teacher. I got your cubbies in here as a sleeper team. Again, not a lot of base cards and rookie cards, just one rookie, But again, a lot of autos, relics, and variations. And really for you guys, there's some Sandberg autos in there. There's a lot of great throwback players that I think you'd want to chase. Again, if you pull the Cubs in a spin or whatnot, it's worth keeping, in my opinion, because you're probably going to get something. And then the third team I have in here is Seattle. Mostly, again, because of the variations. There's more than one Griffey auto, more than one Randy Johnson autos, a lot of throwbacks. So another great team. There are a bunch of teams that I don't list here, and you'll see them on the next slide, that would be good teams to keep, just because of the number of variations, the number of autos, and things like that. So let's get into the cheat sheet here. Again, apologize, needed to make this fit, so some of the logos are going to be small here. But I've broken down. This is the screen grab you guys can go after when you're getting into your breaks. Again, this is my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. But the top tier teams, most of these will be the teams that I just mentioned from the previous slide. Obviously, the Red Sox and Yankees and Dodgers, just from the sheer amount of cards. But then there are some other top rookies in here. Didn't even talk about Mizorowski for the Brewers, Basallo for the Orioles. Pittsburgh has Bubba Chandler, who's another great pitching prospect, but they've also got Skeens and Skeens autos in there. So another under the radar team that I think if you get, you're going to want to keep. We talked about the Braves. A team we didn't talk about is the Royals. Royals, obviously, the chase is going to be Caglione, because he's their top prospect. And if you get them, you're going to want to keep them. They may be expensive because of that. They're middle of the pack in terms of autos and relics, but they do have 3 home field advantages in this series, including a throwback of Bo Jackson. So just something to keep in mind. Of the 20 home field advantages in Series 1, 3 of them are from Kansas City. And then similarly with the White Sox, historically has been a team that's been on the third tier, middle of the pack in terms of number of relics and autos. But I do like their rookies in this class. So Kyle Teal and Colson Montgomery both came up last year. Montgomery had the whole second half, and I think he hit 20 to 25 home runs. So power bat, he's got to get the average up, but this will be his true rookie card. So, the potential for him, if he figures it out from a batting average perspective, could be someone to target and stash away. On the second tier, Mariners and Cubs, again, talked about them being some sleeper teams for me. Washington and the Houston Astros actually almost made it to my sleeper list. They're top tier in terms of number of inserts, number of autos, and relics. So another team that if you get under the radar, you may want to keep. And then just getting down to the third tier, again, in my opinion, I have the Marlins as the worst team to get here. I think they have 1 rookie card. I think they have 1 auto. Just not a lot of cards in there. If you get the Marlins, unfortunately, my condolences to you. My guess is Marlins may be a free team that a lot of breakers give away. Don't know. But some of these teams down below have some good players, have some great autos, but there's just not a high probability, given the print runs of this, of you potentially pulling something like that. So in any of those formats where you get 2 of these teams and a breaker may offer you an opportunity to trade 2 teams in, if you have 2 teams in this tier, that would be my recommendation for you, would be to move on from them, unless they're your teams and you're targeting a specific player there. So last slide I have here. Again, thank you all for jumping in and watching this. Just tips for live breaks. And I know a lot of you are going, if you're watching this, obviously it's probably because you're going to be jumping into breaks. Maybe you are doing some breaks, but these are just some tips that I thought would be relevant for you so that you don't get burned. I've gotten burned on this. You get excited, you hop into a room and whatnot, and there's not a lot of people in there, and the wheel goes around, and you think you get a good deal, and then you find out afterwards that they're only sending you rookie cards or only sending the hits, right? So just things like that you want to pay attention to. Pick a format that works for you, whether it's pick your team or not. Just find a way so that you're not getting burned by this. When you do get into a break, if there are some hits and you have concerns about the breaker, maybe grab a screenshot, take a picture of those hits to make sure that they're there. And again, avoid, in my opinion, avoid the breakers where it's just a true gamble. A lot of breakers out there, I noticed this last year, are getting into the format of having 400 different spots with all of the different names of people that are in a break. Again, those are high risk types of breaks. Just pay attention to what the bids are going for, and don't get burned. There are some non team autos that are out there, some people that aren't on one of the 30 teams out there. I know there's a Victor Wembanyama auto, so I don't know how breakers are going to do that. Should have put that here, but you want to find out in advance when you're doing a break for how the breaker is going to resolve pulling a card that is not assigned to a designated team. So again, just little things for you to look out for. So that's going to be it, everybody. Again, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully I'll get an opportunity to do more of these as new releases come out. And as always, if you're not a subscriber, please hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you all for the next break. Bye, everybody.